Morning, everyone. How are we doing? Morning. Good. Nice to see you all. Thank you for coming. And the first time in history, I think we're actually going to start almost bang on time because we've got tons and tons of stuff to get through this morning. So thank you all for coming. Also, thank you for our wonderful sponsors, all of which, well, most of which you've seen outside. They're the reason that these events are free. We don't charge you to attend, and we can, bring some great content and great presenters for you during the day. Do support them by having a chat. We've got some new kind of gamification stuff, which I'll talk about in a bit as well, which will help if you go and see them. I say tons of great speakers today throughout the whole day, both from community, from industry partners. We've got people from the vendors here as well, who you hear from in a bit. So just so you kind of put a name to a face if you don't know any of these guys. Steering group wise, these are the people who help put these events together. Some of us are here. We've got the Rogues Gallery now at the front, it seems. It's a bit like Britain's Got Talent, I think. Yeah. We just need like big buzzers or something to, So yeah, do grab us if you've got any feedback, any suggestions for the events. Do grab us during the day. We're the whole day. We've got a bunch of socials where you can interact and follow if you want. We're still on X. For how long, I don't know. Depends on what happens to the illustrious leader. We're on Blue Sky as well, so do follow us on there. Obviously, we've got a LinkedIn group as well. And we have our own website as well, where you can submit your own session, which there's a YouTube channel. So all of the sessions today, or most of the sessions today, will be recorded and made available on our YouTube channel. There's a whole bunch of previous meetings on there as well. So you can go back and look at previous content completely for free, which is great. QR code if you want to, or just search for EUC Forum YouTube channel. We will be distributing the slides as well afterwards. Future events, right, so our June meeting is going to be in Edinburgh. We have deliberately scheduled it the day after Workplace Ninjas. So Workplace Ninjas is on the 16th and 17th in Edinburgh. So those of you who are planning to attend that, excuse me, can attend ours on the Wednesday. We'll probably have a social event the day before for people who are staying over. If you want to go to Workplace Ninjas, we do have a discount code that gives you 25% off the registration fee. Just to make it nice to go to both events. Obviously our event is still free, but you can save a bit of money on their event as well. Let me know what that is. I'm not allowed to tell it to you because this has been recorded and put on the internet, but do speak to one of us and I will give you the details. As always, we'll have some kind of social event late summer and autumn, and then our winter event will be in November, which we're looking for sessions. So a lot of the content is community generated. If you've got an interesting project you're doing, an interesting technology you want to talk about, do submit your session. We love case studies. We love hearing about what you're getting up to. So, get your session ideas in for summer in Edinburgh, or autumn in London. Right, we've got a new event app. So download links are here. If you haven't, you should have got an email that's sent to you a week or so ago. If you've registered since, you can download it here. Log into it using the email address you registered with. Make sure that I know we've only got like one or two tracks, but you still have to add all the sessions to your agenda. You will then get a notification to provide feedback against each session, right? So you can see that the day's agenda there. If you add each one to your schedule, you can then provide direct feedback on each of the sessions if you want. That'd be great. And then there's an event survey in there as well, which is the kind of the usual feedback forms. You will get points for submitting session feedbacks. You'll also get points for submitting the event feedback. You will get points for scanning the QR codes when you go and talk to our sponsors. And there is prizes for the person with the highest points at the end of the day. All clear on that? Say yes, Neil. Yes, Neil. Amazing. Right. So, use the event app. I say it's the first time we've used it. Again, good to get your feedback, see how well it works. Again, we stopped printing paper agendas and stuff like that, trying to be nice and healthy for the planet. So, technology-wise, that's done. Packed agenda. Again, you can see this on the event app, so just use that now. I'm going to skip over these pretty quickly. But again, usual bunch of content. Coffee breaks in mid-morning and mid-afternoon. Lunch is out with the sponsors. Post-event drinks will be at the Minories. I'm sure most of you will know where that is, but if not, just follow us. We'll be leaving there. We've got an area booked there. for some drinks and nibbles afterwards. Right, so a very brief history of kind of around the news from the industry. A lot of this is Citrix, but really that's because that's kind of affected me and a few other people quite a lot. There's a couple of acquisitions on there. Citrix kind of, again, focusing on their larger customers, appointing like sole distributors and things like that to deal with their smaller customers. They've acquired Device Trusts. Anyone use Device Trust in the audience? Couple, yeah. So this is like around attestation of devices and like real-time reevaluation of device posture. I'm sure our Citrix guy might mention more about that, so I'm not going to tell you. Unicon, which is a Linux-based thin client operating system as well. A bit like Igel, I guess, for doing thin clients. What? Isn't it a bit like Igel?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well. Don't gasp then. Citrix have also scrapped all of their community programs, which is a bit of a shame. So like the CTA, CTP, CGC, Women in Tech, that's all been canned. Which maybe Citrix don't think they need the community anymore. Now that they're working with their bigger customers directly, who knows? But anyway, moving on. What else is happening? Windows 10 end of life in October. So make sure you're either off Windows 10, or if you are still stuck with Windows 10, either prepared to pay for extended support, or put some stuff into Cloud PCs, because then Microsoft will give you free extended support and you don't need to pay for it. Notable rise in Open for Work Friends. Yeah, so I guess this is kind of go back to the layoffs that we're seeing in the industry. So there's quite a few people who have been laid off from a lot of these vendors over the last few months. Who are struggling to find work. So if you do have any open roles available, let us know, because we know quite a few people who are looking for work. Right.
And likewise, if you're looking for work,
yes, yes, we're happy to elevate your profile and help you where we can as well. So do let us know for that. Right, I am actually just over time, but I'll hand over to Tom, who's going to start our vendor news. He's not even paying attention.
Sorry.
So we've got Microsoft, Citrix, AWS. Omnissa will be on after Sean. They've just moved to slightly later, just before coffee. So first up is Tom from Microsoft.
There we go. Good morning, everyone. Does this move? No. No. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. So I've just got 10 minutes just to go through, as normal, just through some of the updates that we've had at Microsoft recently from the Windows Cloud. Last time I did this, I think I might have run over slightly, Nigel, didn't I? So apologies for that, but that was because we just had Ignite the week before and there was a million announcements. We've had a bit of a quiet time, so I'm definitely going to be under 10 minutes. And there's not a great deal to talk about. There's a few things, so I'm going to fill the rest of the time with some roadmap items. So let's just kick off then. So we announced yesterday, in fact, the imminent GA of a new disaster recovery feature. But to give that some credence, we just need to talk about what else we've got there to understand the life cycle of this new feature. This new feature being called Windows 365 Disaster Recovery Plus. But before that, we've got two other resiliency disaster recovery features. The first is this thing called point-in-time restore. Now, this enables you to take snapshots, well, the service takes the snapshots, but you can configure it, snapshots of your Cloud PC and your whole estate of Cloud PCs. And you can take them every 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, or 24 hours. And then the service also takes another snapshot every 7 days, which means that you can restore your Cloud PC to 4 hours ago all the way up to 4 weeks. Now, this was an absolute lifesaver for lots of customers during the CrowdStrike update. So these customers just reverted back to the update that they'd taken prior to the update having been rolled back, and their Cloud PCs, their entire estate of Cloud PCs was back to that point and no problems, and they just carried on working. So it saved them so much time and money. A great feature to enable them to get back up and running. Now, admins can keep the control of this feature so that they can obviously do it, or you can surface up a little button into the Windows app so that the end user can also do it, again, saving IT even more time. So that's point-in-time restore. The second one, and again, this is GA, So this is Windows 365 cross-region disaster recovery. As the name suggests, this enables you to cover your cloud PCs to another Azure region. Now, when you enable this, we will replicate the disk of your cloud PC, or however many you specify, to a separate region that you specify in the policy, and we'll store it 3 times in 3 availability zones in that destination region that you've specified inside of the policy. Then, when you initiate a recovery, the service will spin up a cloud PC, and it will attach your latest snapshot disk, and therefore your cloud PC is back up and running. You obviously can't connect to the original one, so if you've called a disaster, then we prevent access to it. If the region's gone off the air, well, you can connect to it anyway. But then you can obviously connect to a new one. You should be saving anything in OneDrive or wherever else you might be saving it, because it's not replicated back. But then after the disaster, you can revert back to your original machine once it's up and running. So that's all good. Disaster Recovery Plus takes this to the next level. So it's the same kind of capability, but with this service, we take a unique snapshot. So cross-region DR was taking your latest snapshot, point-in-time restore. This is taking its own dedicated, unique snapshot, and again, replicating it to the destination region you specify, again, storing it in 3 availability zones. The difference here is that as soon as you initiate the service, then we then go and immediately provision a cloud PC. So this is just a generic cloud PC. It's just a VM, effectively, with a generic disk. But we are dedicating the capacity for you in that destination region. And then when you initiate a recovery, we basically shut that VM down, take your latest snapshot, convert it to a managed disk, then attach it to that VM, boot it up, and then your cloud PC is up and running as it was of that last snapshot. So the benefit here is you get reserved capacity, and much lower RTO and RPO. So the process, the Azure process of converting a snapshot to a managed disk takes around 15 minutes. So we kind of give you an RTO of about 30 minutes. And then the RPO is 60 minutes, because we are replicate, the maximum is 60 minutes, because every 60 minutes we take a new snapshot. I won't go through this slide, but there's just a whole load of detail here just to differentiate the two. These will be shared, so you can then go and compare those features. But just to call out the lower RTO, RPO, and the fact that it's reserved capacity by virtue of the machine being up and running. I suppose the one consideration with cross-region disaster recovery, if there is a region outage, every person out there is probably going to be trying to provision new VMs potentially in that destination region. So capacity will become constrained, which is what the difference here is. Okay, moving on, Cloud PC Move. This is a feature that enables you to move the entirety of VMs associated with the provisioning policy, which is your definition of where and how VMs or Cloud PCs get created. We give you the capability of moving all of them. And you might do that because we've released a new Azure region. So Japan West was the most recent. You might have users in somewhere, wherever Japan West is, and you want to move their VMs from Japan East or wherever they might have been to Japan West to get better latency. And we are releasing new regions. Hopefully by the end of this week, Spain and Mexico will go online. So if you've got users over there, that might be a use case for relocating them. Users might relocate themselves. There might be some Azure restrictions. Unfortunately, capacity isn't as limitless as everyone thought it was. So we do have times when there are certain SKUs that are unavailable in regions. So you might choose to move them for that reason. Data residency. And with the Azure network connection, that's a VNet that you specify from your IP range. We do have customers running out of IPs on those subnets because they've designed it many years ago or whatever reason. So customers can move them between regions and between the network types. What we've announced is the ability to move individual VMs. So it was a bit all or nothing previously. So now you can come along and select individual cloud PCs and just move those individually to wherever your destination is. And that's quite an important task. So we're going to also report on it. So you can go into the monitoring. There's a new Cloud PC Actions section, which includes this new action of move region. So this is the looking at individual VMs. If you were doing bulk actions, there's a bulk batches section, again with that new action, and it will just display however many you've moved in that particular set of bulk actions. Okay, moving quickly on. If you've ever done firewalls or VPNs, split tunnel VPNs, trying to get to all of the IPs for the AVD management plane, you've probably had a bit of a ball ache doing that. There was 380/32s that you had to specify inside of your policies. Last week we announced that that's now gone down to 1/20. Now that's actually, I was surprised, quite a big deal. Getting that range costs quite a lot of money. So there's a whole load of details in this you can give to your networking people, aka.ms RDP improvements. And there'll be additional sets of infrastructure and improvements around not only IPs, but also the actual RDP protocol. So have a look at that article. So that I've run out of things to talk about that we've released, so I'm just going to cover some of the roadmap items in the next few minutes. We mentioned Frontline the last one of these. There's two mechanisms, dedicated, that's been GA for some time. This new shared mode, which is currently in public preview. In fact, I talked about this last time, but this is just to set the scene for a new feature that's on our roadmap. This gives you the ability of pooling cloud PCs and then giving access to that pool to a set of users for intermittent type access. So think of like a retail floor where someone rocks up to a device, logs into an application to check some stock, and then they're with a customer, they want to place that. So they might just need access to 2 apps, takes 10 minutes, job done, they go off and do the rest of their day job. So this is not to be confused with multi-session from AVD. These are all individual VMs, although they are not personal, they're not dedicated, as the dedicated mode is. So these just get reset basically and put back in the pool available for the next user. The life cycle of these VMs looks a little bit like this. You specify a pool, you choose the number, you also choose however many users you want to be or to have access to that pool. Now there might be some restrictions on that when it goes GA, but basically you will create a pool of 10, 100, present it to 100, 1,000 users, whatever the limitations might be. A user signs in, connects to any one of those, do that sort of day job, sign out. Now at the moment, all we do is delete the user profile and put it back into the pool. But we're working on this ability of resetting the VM. Now, there's a couple of ways we might do that. It might be resetting from an Azure perspective, or it might be non-persistence with ephemeral disks coming from Azure. Neil.
Can you make that configurable? Because if you're deploying apps to it by Intune and then you reset the PC and they all get wiped, the PC won't be available to use for a random period of time.
Yep.
Up to 12 hours.
Yeah. So good point.
It's not a good thing.
There's a whole load of work that's been done in Intune. I can't remember what we call it, but faster something or other that does exactly that. It's designed. It's faster everything. It's designed to get those applications down there quicker. But if you've got 2 apps, or some small number, those apps in theory should be in the image. So that's kind of the recommended way, but not to say that it's not supported in Intune.
But then you've got to build an image factory, which is complicated.
Yeah,
So.
admittedly, yeah. So this is what the use case looks like. This is enterprise, not a frontline edition. Every user gets a dedicated VM, signs in whenever they want, uses it whenever they want. Dedicated mode, 1 license, 3 VMs. They share the license, and they use it in a sort of shift pattern with an hour overlap between those. And then this is the shared mode. A group of users logging in, not simultaneously, just for a short period of time. Now, to go with this, one of the things we're working on is Windows 365 Cloud Apps, effectively remote app for Windows 365. So we've obviously had this remote app technology for some time, and all this is doing is obviously doing published apps, but from Windows 365 VMs, as opposed to multi-session where it's originally come from. So it's really, and this is going to start off with that frontline shared mode. So why, if a user just needs 2 apps, why give them a whole desktop, slow the process down, just publish the 2 apps to them directly, log in, all the apps that they need will be used within the 1 session. So that's currently something that we're working on, don't really have any specific timelines, but we should expect to see at least a private preview later this year. Okay, one of the other terms you might hear from Microsoft is this like local. So this is our initiative to make the experience in the Windows cloud the same as, if not better, than doing the same thing on a physical device. So users should experience no noticeable difference connecting to a cloud PC or AVD for that matter than if they were connecting to their local device. Now, there is a massive amount of work that's being done. NerdioCon, Stefan Georgiev is presenting with Neil. Stefan will be sharing a lot more about some of the things that we can share at that point in time around this. But just to give an indication of some of the things we're doing. So the minimum baseline of multiple 4K monitors at 60 frames per second on any network type, and the ability to degrade the performance if your network has low bandwidth, high latency. Connection times. So takes however many, 20, 30 seconds sometimes to connect to a AVD session or cloud PC. The goal is to get that down to 10 seconds in the foreseeable future, and then a little bit further out, getting it down to 1 and then sub 1 second. Now, I've seen the prototype of this capability, and I didn't believe the person who was showing me, and I said, you got to do that again. Literally, it was within a second from the client through to the desktop. So I was blown away at that. So that's absolutely definitely coming. And then another good example of this is peripheral support. So number one, just expanding the set of peripherals that are supported, but also how they behave. And inking is the perfect example of this. So we call this thing super wet ink, which just denotes the fact that if you're writing with a pen on a touchscreen, the ink hasn't dried on your local device and it's already available inside of the session. So again, the point here is it's exactly the same experience than if you were literally doing it on your physical device. And we're doing, and like I said, this is a wider set of capabilities. And that's because we kind of own a lot of the technology in the entire stack. And we've got great partnerships with the vendors. So from the silicon all the way up through the hypervisor Windows to the Windows Cloud capabilities. And just to kind of illustrate some of the things that we're working on, these are things in this kind of area that we've recently announced and released. So things like RDP Short Path, introduced UDP. So some of the things that we're working on. So RDP Multipath is an evolution of Short Path. This is the ability to have multiple traditional connections, like going via the AVD gateway, and as well as going through RDP Short Path, multiples of those, and then Multipath will either select the best one of those, or in the future, we'll be able to use multiples of these paths to increase your bandwidth and reduce your latency. So a much more reliable, efficient way of connecting. That provides faster connectivity. You giving me the time? Okay. And well, you can see a whole load of things here just about making everything better and faster. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Better and faster, including the presenters. Right, next up is Citrix. Jonathan, there we go. So your clickers are.
Thank you.
Is this a free gift that you're leaving for us?
I
forgot about that. I've run out of time.
This is the Microsoft Thing client, by the way.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see the link, it's not a particularly exciting thing to look at, but we announced the link device for Windows 365, so if anybody wanted to touch it, they can.
Hello everyone. So my name is Jonathan Adams. I'm a product manager at Citrix. In particular, I cover Storefront and Workspace. So I'm going to talk about what's new at Citrix since the last meeting. Citrix has signed the Secure by Design pledge, and we're proud to join over 250 leading software companies, including companies like IBM, AWS and Microsoft. And it's structured around 7 different goals, which each vendor is expected to make progress on. So, for instance, implementing MFA, establishing a vulnerability disclosure policy, accurately recording CVEs, and improving the ability to provide evidence in the case of intrusion through logging. In the last forum, we announced the acquisition of Uber Agent. And since then, there's been another 3 acquisitions. So firstly, Strong Networks. And this provides secure browser-based cloud development environments. And this allows application developers to do their coding work in the cloud from either unmanaged or managed devices. It also supports local, on-premise deployments, including air-gapped. And it's built to support a distributed developer workforce at scale. And this is, allows you to reduce the onboarding costs and get things up to speed quicker. So next one is device trust. And this allows you to streamline your zero trust strategy. And the way this works is it provides real-time continuous monitoring and policy enforcement for virtualized and local application access during the entire session. And it can evaluate a range of different factors. So for example, it can look at the security state of your operating system, such as operating system patches, is the firewall active, and are antivirus patterns up to date. It can see if you're looking at a corporate device. For instance, it could be looking at whether you're connected to a particular Windows domain, or look at the serial numbers of the device. And it can look at information about your network connection. So are you internal or are you external? If it is on a Wi-Fi, is the Wi-Fi encrypted? And finally, you can also look at your location, get this location in a variety of different ways, for instance, via GPS or Wi-Fi triangulation. So it's included in the Citrix platform license, Universal Hybrid Multi-Cloud, and legacy DAS licenses. And you can actually go in and download a license file from the My Account page. The final acquisition I want to talk about is Unicon. And this allows you to turn any x86 device into a thin client. And there are two main parts to this. The first one is ELUX, which is a secure Linux-based operating system. The second part is Scout, which provides simple endpoint management. And together, these give you enhanced sustainability and reduced cost by allowing you to extend the life cycle of your existing devices. And then cost-effective endpoint management with no extra operating system license costs. These are going to be included for customers with Citrix platform license and Universal Hybrid Multi-Cloud at the next renewal, or if you get in contact, want that sooner. Okay, and I'm going to talk about a few of the new features that we have. So firstly, and this is obviously my personal area, is the end user interface that's been on cloud is now generally available on on-prem storefront. And this includes some features such as improved search and activity manager that allows you to view and manage your sessions. In the very latest release, both on cloud and on the latest storefront release, there are some new features such as the ability to create pinned links and hibernate and resume for Azure VMs. And going forward, we're going to continue to be adding features to the new user interface, rather than, although the classic user interface is still going to be available for the foreseeable future. There's still a few features that are in the classic user interface that need migrating, and they'll be available soon. One thing we're not going to be porting is the ability to do deep customizations using JavaScript and style sheets. So our aim now is that we want to make these available as out-of-the-box features that anyone can configure using the management console, rather than having to learn how to use our APIs and write scripts to be able to customize storefronts. So there was going to be various features that previously you'd have to have scripted to be able to to do, and now going to be available as features you can just configure for yourself. There's new customization dashboards in Citrix Monitor, so a smarter way to manage your infrastructure costs. And you can track per user, per month expenses, and visualize your savings using Citrix capabilities. It provides actionable recommendations on committable commute, reserved instances, and savings plans tailored to help you optimize spending. And a feature that's in tech preview is, wrong one. Right, the next one is secure access client for Linux. So this allows you to get your Linux users now to gain access to your network and to private applications using secure private access. It also ensures security network by allowing you to take immediate proactive action to block all connections for a particular user if there's unusual traffic patterns or if a large number of requests are detected. And session remote start. So this is a feature that's now in tech preview. So long login times, reduce employee productivity and cause a lot of frustration, and can produce a lot of help desk calls as well. So remote start. This enables the sessions to get triggered by an external authentication trigger, such as badging into the building. And then that ensures that the session is ready and waiting, so when the user gets to their desk, they can much faster reconnect to it. So this is by providing a set of APIs that trusted third parties can then use to enumerate and launch sessions. Okay, and finally, obviously there's been various different updates, but rather than listing them here, I've given you a QR code so you can connect to Citrix TechWire and view them at your leisure. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
And, you around all day?
I am around all day.
So John's been here all day. If you want to got any questions, grab him. So up next is AWS with bring your own laptop. There you go. What's the name again? Nope. What is that? Please.
Hello everyone. I don't know why the screen is not going full screen. No. So, displays. Hello everyone. I'm Nitya. I am Solutions Architect at AWS. I'm here to talk about what have been doing in the end-user computing space. So before I jump, I know I only have 9 minutes now, so before I jump into the updates for each of the services, I want to take the opportunity to level set what we offer, as in what's our portfolio. So starting from the left, we have Workspaces Core, which really allows you to extend your existing VDI systems into AWS. So let's say you're running Citrix, Omnissa, Workstream, Workspot, LeoStream. So you can plug those protocols into AWS using capacity provided by AWS. And this all happens behind the scenes because the protocols themselves, they use APIs to interact with AWS managed capacity, basically allowing you to utilize the scalability and security of AWS. And then we come to our native protocols or native services, Amazon Workspaces. So Workspaces traditionally offered personal workspaces, which is our persistent offering. So think of your laptop running in the cloud. It had all the great features of monthly flat billing, where you can your users connect to their workspaces in less than 6 seconds. And then you have automatic disaster recovery. If your workspace is unhealthy, your users automatically can get redirected to the second region where the workspace will be on a standby mode. And all of these features are customers requested to bring non-persistence to workspace platform, which is when we introduced pools. So pools basically gives you what? Non-persistence. You can publish your desktop today in this non-persistent offering, again powered by Amazon DCV, and very soon we'll be able to publish applications on pools. And then secure browser, namely, you'll know this from Citrix world. Secure browser is just browser as a service, where if your users only need access to a browser to do their work, that is our secure browser. AppStream, which has been there for about 9 years, is more for ISVs, where if you have custom applications or if you want to publish your apps, you can use AppStream for that. So again, a non-persistent offering for application publishing, more targeted towards ISVs and thin clients. So workspace thin clients are back to life. Again, everyone is talking about them. So AWS launched thin clients back in 2023 at reInvent. So talking about updates. So for a persistent offering, the workspace is personal. We have been the workspace always worked with traditional Active Directories, because when workspaces were launched, that was the main way of delivering things. And customers were asking us if we can use identity providers like Penguin or Entra, and can we natively join the workspaces to them. So now, yes, you can do that. You can connect your workspaces to Entra ID or any other identity providers using IAM Identity Center. Then Workspaces is one of the platforms where you can run M365. You can bring your M365 licenses legally. You can run it there. Or if you don't have M365, you can take advantage of our Office included offerings. Hardware options. So the services which we offer natively are mostly managed. So what that means for Workspace Personal is we give you t-shirt sized offerings. For example, what's your user persona going to be, and based on that you can pick a particular hardware type. And our customers are saying that we now have expanded use cases, so we want higher powered or more powered machines. So we are now offering more, namely 4x large and 8x large machines under Workspaces Personal. Flexibility in choosing the operating system. So you can obviously have Windows Desktop, Windows Server OS. You can have Linux flavors, various Linux flavors which we offer. Ubuntu 22.04, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Rocky Linux, and Amazon Linux too. So you have a wide range of choices there. And in terms of updates, like we started offering, traditionally we were offering Amazon Linux 2, Ubuntu, but then late last year, we also introduced RHEL as well as Rocky. Observability is one of the important things. So Workspaces was emitting matrix to AWS CloudWatch or Amazon CloudWatch, which is our native service for visualizing what's going on within your environment. And customers asked us, hey, can we have more granular visibility into the environment? What's a particular workspace user doing? How's the session going? What's the resource consumption like? Can I take actions based on that? And for that, we launched observability. In the next slide, I'm going to give you some screenshots of what it looks like and what actions can you take. But yeah, the good thing is all of this data goes to CloudWatch, and you can take automated actions based on what's happening within your within your environment. So in terms of pools, this service was launched in May last year. And like I said, since this is relatively new, we are working to bring more and more features on this. But today you can run M365. Like I said, it's a non-persistent environment. So your M365 licenses are compliant. You can run Windows Desktop OS as well as the server OS. And all the other advantages of Amazon security and scalability still applies to both the services. So very quickly into what we offer. So as you can see on screen, this is new enhanced dashboard. It is something which is automatically published by Workspace's service, but given the data which is emitted by the service, you can create your own custom dashboards for different profiles. Let's say someone is at help desk, they would want a different view. You can customize it. If someone is from, let's say, admin teams, they would want a different view and different set of information. You can customize to that. This is overview, and then one of the custom things you can do, as you can see, I'm checking the client versions my users are using. I'm checking what's the resource consumption, how are they connecting, from how far they are connecting. All that information is here. So this was a very big advantage for our customers. Now moving on to Workspace's Core. When we launched Core, customers asked us, hey, we want more on this because this is one of the fantastic offerings. And they wanted multi-session. They wanted non-persistent offering. So now you have the capability. If you're running Citrix or Omnissa on AWS Workspace's Core, you are able to bring non-persistence to your desktops. You can also do multi-session on these offerings. Then published application support. Now I know that these are not the new things, but these are the capabilities we have added in terms of Core. And then auto start desktops. So when I was talking about Workspace's Personal, you can have two running modes where you can keep your workspaces to a monthly billing, and your users will have the advantage of connecting instantly to their workspaces, less than 6 seconds. Or you can go auto stop, where you are prioritizing the cost, and as soon as the user initiates a connection, service identifies, starts the machine, and user is connected. Obviously the trade-off is they take longer to connect. Now even on Workspace's Core, you can take advantage of auto starting the machines, so that you don't have to schedule stuff there. That's about Core. Some of the other updates across the service portfolio. So you may have seen environments where your desktops, for some reason, needs to be hosted in a particular region, maybe for compliance, maybe for government regulations, but your end users, they may be residing in different part of the world. So now, traditionally, the streaming happened over the ISPs network, but now it supports global accelerator from Amazon. So what this means, I'm here, I get on to AWS global network backbone at my nearest endpoint, and all the streaming happens over that, from that point onwards all the way up to the workspaces, so that it speeds up your connection time, it improves the user connection experience, how they're seeing. So they shouldn't be seeing a lot of latency in their connections. And this is especially important if you have a developer persona or someone, let's say, who's sitting in India working on a workstation in US. So they don't see that latency. For AppStream, we introduced Red Hat Enterprise Linux as well as Rocky. A lot of our customers, they use their contact center environments within the VDIs. So that's why we brought optimization for Connect Agent to the workspaces. If you've used workspaces, one of the things was it uses a custom port, 4192, 4172. And customers are asking us, hey, we want to stream over 443 because that's something which is already open in our network. We don't want to go through the hassle. So we introduced streaming over port 443. And finally, if you are using Amazon Linux workspaces, Amazon Q is our generative AI coding assistant. So that Amazon Q Developer Pro trial is on workspaces. You can utilize it on Amazon Linux workspaces platform. By default, you can sign up for it. It's free of cost, improves your developer productivity. before signing off, Amazon EUC community. It's an online forum where everyone from AWS staff to our customers to our partners, they are publishing their stories, their articles about how to do things on AWS and user computing. And you are invited to sort of review the community and contribute. That's my time, and I hope I managed within 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Do I need to speed it up? 40?
5:40. Yeah, you get 5 minutes. Yeah.
3 slides a minute.
Good morning, everyone. Excellent to see everyone this morning. I get the job of doing the around the grounds. So the updates you see, usually to start with, are the 4 that we see in the DAS Gartner Magic Quadrant. So that's how we start with the 10-minute updates of them. We then sort of bunch the others around and call it around the grounds. So we find the other presentation layer technologies. Some of these are certainly rising very fast. Some are new. We like to show you them. We're starting to see them in the industry more and more. So as the sort of challenges around EUC and the vendors is happening, we're seeing that sort of shift. So the aim of this is just to really give you a very quick overview of them, and then many of these are sponsors, so there's booths as well, so at least you can go and talk to them further. So first one's parallels. I'm not going to read it all out, it's no point, you can see it here. The important thing with a lot of these, especially parallels, is the move to become more of an enterprise tool. We're seeing that nearly all of these providers are bringing in more enterprise features because their opportunities, their licenses they're selling are bigger companies, so they've got to keep adding in those features that you want as an enterprise. Chasm's a new one to us. Their first time they've sponsored. Welcome to Nick and his team here today. And yet again, it's around web browser, virtual desktops. We're seeing a lot more around Linux and other technologies, as well as just traditional Windows desktops. So if you want to see any more about what they're doing, how they're doing it, they've got a different spin on it again. So go and see them in their booth. Dizion, so what was Frame, Nutanix, what you start seeing here is quite interesting. Obviously with Dizion, they've come from the Nutanix side, so their support for Nutanix is huge and everything like that. We see AHV mentioned in a lot of these updates. So there's no one from Dizion here today, but if you need more information, obviously come and see us. Most of us sort of know the technologies enough to know the person who actually understands these things. So quite a few things happening there. You'll see a lot more moving just from planes from the US to around the world. We're seeing that a lot more. One thing that Dizion is starting to do is this sort of in-session performance monitoring. We're seeing this with other technologies, with Citrix buying Uber Agent and everything. There's more and more sort of the performance monitoring in session, which we've never really had as a sort of an integrated part to many of these technologies. Aporto, yet again, they're here today as a sponsor, so thank you for them. We're seeing them getting into the market more. They have a new partner portal and their new VP of Channels and Alliances. Amy's here today as well. So go and see them, see what they're doing. Yet again, you'll see some of the new version pieces in there. It's all around getting those more enterprise features that you'd expect to see in these presentation layer EUC vendors. Cameo. So Cameo I've worked with for a long time, actually. They were acquired by Google 18 months ago, 2 years. Can't remember now, time flies. Last year, see, there you go. See, thank you, Anthony. And the reasons around there is they had a lot of work with Google anyway, but it's the ability to be able to deliver any desktop onto sort of any devices, and particularly around sort of with Google with their Chrome books and everything like that. So we're seeing they're coming through the market, and with Google, who are now a platinum sponsors of us, they're not here today. Anthony is here if you need to speak to anyone from Google around Cameo, and the fact that they are getting into this market as well is really good for us. It's just seeing that this isn't going away, it just is modifying the way that we're working with these things. Nerdio are just getting ready for their NerdioCon in Palm Springs in April, I think, Neil. So they're getting ready for and preparing for their version 7 release. So we'll see a lot more of that. Neil and Nerdio and the Nerdio team are here today. Yet again, go and see them in the stands. Lots of updates, lots of enterprise tooling in there to keep us going. Excuse me, man flu's hitting me today, so I won't talk too much. Prize draws. So always good to have some prize draws in there. So I thought we'd make a slide around them. So thank you to Management Studio. So what a thing, you know. This is the reason I'm in IT, was this little beauty here. You know, I had almost like this, a little sheet, and I used to play on the keyboard, because when I ordered this, it took 16 weeks to deliver. So that was in 1980 something or other.
And you had to build it yourself from...
Yeah, and I got it, and then I realised I needed to put some more memory in there, so I had to spend another 50 quid or whatever to put the memory into. But that's the way a lot of us started, to the older people around here. So great thing to do. That's actually a sort of an updated simulation one, HDMI, USB. So thank you to Management Studio. Go and see them, and if you go and have a look at their new web portal, get a demo from their team, they'll put you into the draw. Draws are done at the end of the day. You have to be here to win. 10 zig, £100 Amazon voucher there to be won. Yet again, go and see them. They've got their range of thin clients, software client as well, around their stuff. So go and see them, get a chance to win them. And then, as Neil was saying, we have the app today, the event app. So we've got a couple of prizes which will be drawn around the highest points in the app. So please do download the app. Please send the evaluations. And please let us know if there's anything else we're missing that we need to add into here. And of course, if there's other stuff that we can do better. That's me done. You're going to do the announcements for the next one, aren't you?